Hello, guys. This is Chico here from You Are Limitless with the Energy Funnel Workshop Part 2, just in case you missed the actual workshop April 18th. This Part 2 is all about sharing. So we get to dive deeper on some of these energies that we experience on a daily and ways that we can start to change and shift the way we use our energy and how to tell people it is what it is. This is what we're doing for now. So I hope you guys enjoy this powerful share. I just want to thank all the participants, all the ladies, all the warriors who were with me on a journey, even if they couldn't be there in the workshop. I felt your energy and it was well received. So this is a really powerful session, group session essentially. And I hope you guys enjoy. Comment, share, follow, and don't forget to love.
What are some things that came up for you? I would love to know. If you want to put something in the chat, you absolutely can. If you want to just, hang on, let me stop sharing my screen. If you want to just talk out loud, let's do that as well. Let me see what's in the chat. Oh, yeah. Allie, yeah, absolutely.
Is it okay if I share my story about like your whole people pleasing thing and everything like that?
Wait, sorry.
Is it okay if I like talk about my story about the whole people pleasing thing and all that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, please.
I'll keep it short because I don't want to talk y'all's ear off, but like I'm Filipino. I have two parents. My mom died whenever I was little, but I came from like financial troubles and like generational traumas and family dramas, and like I got my undergrad fast and my graduate school fast, and then last semester I was still figuring out who I was, and I met this girl, and it's just like a medium came into my life. She gave me this thing. She was like warning me, like, I wish she told me she would have been a flake blonde, but like this blonde girl was gonna come into your life, and like she's gonna say like, is she gonna like ruin you, or are you just gonna surpass it? Because I see who I was in her, generational trauma, using a man to feel that void, and just like always people pleasing. So I really like this because it showed like your boundaries, and it's just like, it made me like stop from her, because like, I'm glad to be off alcohol, smoking, and it's just like, I think this is what I needed today after workout, because I finally got my runner's high after like, I was with every single day. I met her last semester whenever I was working at a hotel, and I was just never happy because I see the negativity, in myself, but like I was being a realist and she was living in this reality, and like I
Yeah.
see that, she's always people pleasing, and it's just like I don't want to be that, and it triggers you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that. And I love how you said, like, you can see the negativity within yourself because, again, like, we do get those reflections in our reality. So it's like, if we're seeing why we're attracting a certain thing or a certain situation or person, we can use that not as a judgment, but as a, okay, let's go inward. Why am I filtering my perception through this person? Why am I attracting this person, this situation into my experience? Doesn't mean like banish them right away, but it's the inner work that you would be doing within. It's just understanding why it is that we're filtering our energy through that, and then how can we show up for ourselves in much more healthier ways, right? And you never stop discovering yourself, by the way. Like, it's a never ending journey. It's so much fun, it's liberating, it's hard, there's tears involved, there's so much going on because you're like, wow, I didn't know that all of this information existed before then. I wasn't taught these things, but you know what? It's incredible because guess what? It's never too late, early, what have you, to learn things that help improve your life, which in turn helps improve other people's life. That's the thing about self-care is you showing up for you 100% helps other people just by being that example, living that example. So it's just incredible. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I'm not trying to interrupt you or like try to take people's time, but I see why I was running away. Like I was working in, as you know, North Dakota and Alabama. I learned from it. It's just that, I need to find like for myself, because I was giving that I was like taking advantage of, and I didn't put myself first.
So thank you so much for sharing. Was there anything else that came up for anyone? Like, what are some thoughts? Like, I would love to hear your perspective on energy and like anytime that you felt any low energies and what helped you? Just anything that came up for you.
I'll go.
Yeah.
As Chico knows, Chico mentioned that she's Nigerian. I'm Nigerian as well. And being like the eldest daughter, is like you are second mom. I was a reliable child. Everybody, not my immediate family, but like my aunts and uncles and everybody relied on me to like, if someone needed something, I would drop what I was doing and forget about myself and go and do what everybody asked. So like when I made the decision, like I said earlier, I live in Tyler now. I moved for school. Everybody about lost their mind. Like Aisha's going where? Aisha's doing what? Like Aisha, like how dare she leave us? We need her. And it's like, y'all really don't. Like, I mean, so like I was putting like all my energy into everybody else. Like by the time I got here, it was just like like I get to do things for myself. I get to focus on school. I get to just be out here where no one can just call me and say, hey, come pick up something for me. That's been the biggest thing. Like the fact that no one can like call me and be like, come do something. Like my mom still calls me nonstop because she's starting a business and everything. But like even that, I got out here and I started therapy and I've been setting boundaries with my mom. Like if she asks me to do something and I'm like, it's a school day where I'm in school all day. I can't do that for you. You can wait till tomorrow. Whereas if I was back home, I'd be like, yeah, mom, go, yeah, So and
Ooh.
Chico knows with Nigerian parents, they keep you as long as they can. Like I'm about to be 30 next weekend. And like if I didn't leave, I would have been there till I was 33. My mom wouldn't have cared. But but just like now that I have like the more time to do self-care, my sister just came out here. She moved out here in January. So like being able to do more one-on-one stuff with her, because back home we couldn't really do that. But just the fact that I could just be here for myself, and like my girlfriend gets to see me more often now because she's only like an hour and a half compared to 3.5 hours away now. Excuse my dog, so sorry. But yeah, just being able to have that energy on to mainly focusing on me and not so much worrying about everybody else and being that reliable child. Like I just like that I'm out here and I'm only out here for like another year and a half, but I'm like dreading going home now. Like I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna go once I graduate because I refuse. Like I'm not.
Oh, we could talk about that later on. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk about that later on because
Yeah.
our stories are so similar. You're
Yeah.
an incredible person. I'm so happy you're here. And I'm happy you're setting that boundary because a lot of it's culturally too,
Yeah.
depending on what. But again, culturally, but also as women, we're kind of trained to nurture and cater to other people. That's
For
just
sure.
and for sure, that's great. I love being able to care for other people. I love it. Okay, I love it. I'm okay with being called a natural nurturer. That's fine. Like, but it's at the expense to where when do we draw that line? When do we draw
Yeah.
that boundary? And I think with a lot of families, especially in cultures where that enmeshment is normal, yeah, it can be difficult to step out of that. And then when you do, it's like you feel that backlash.
Yeah.
But most importantly is like now you're feeling your own energy,
Yeah.
and that is different from what you've experienced before because now there's no more enmeshment. Now it's all Aisha. Now it's all
Yeah.
us. Now it's all Steph. Like this is our own energy, and what we do with it, literally what we say goes, and that's incredible. What we choose to buy into, what we choose to funnel our energy through goes, and we're all living examples of this, and your
Yeah.
story right there is a living example of it.
Yeah.
Like you're literally, and in the end others will come around, okay, because
Yeah.
this is how we train people to treat us the way we want to be treated. When we stop people pleasing, right, when we stop being that yes person, this doesn't mean there is no love. It's not a negative thing to say no. It's not a negative thing to put a stop to certain habits and behaviors that we no longer want to be a part of, that is no longer a part of our now moment. Right. And so absolutely, like it's just incredible. I would love to hear from all of you guys if you want to share or just, just tell me how you're feeling in the moment.
Yeah, so back to what you were saying about, can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, back to what you say. So I noticed for me, like the energy funneling comes from what am I saying out loud and what am I telling people. So that's like been a pinpoint for me, is like in my mind, right? And in my actions, it's like, oh, like I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that, right? But what am I telling other people? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's been something that's been working for me, like paying attention to what I'm saying. And that's gonna help me, of course, do the energy funneling and things like that. Also, one thing I did not know about a neutral. I thought it was
Okay.
either positive or negative, so that's like really cool. Like,
Yeah,
what?
neutral.
It's a
Because sometimes I'm
neutral.
telling you, like, it can feel like you're gaslighting yourself into feeling positive. It's like
Yeah.
that toxic positivity where it's like, you know very well that in this moment, it's not happening. Like, as much as I love to, exhibit all these positive characters and traits and habits and whatnot, in this moment, it's not
Mhm.
happening. Sometimes we even have to accept that we're in a low state and sit with it and not fight it, because the less resistance we have to it, the quicker it goes, right? But then
Mhm.
neutrality kind of like speeds up that process, because you can get to a neutral state and feel just as vibrant, just as normal. You don't have to label it as a negative thing if you're not uppity up and positive. But neutrality offers that clarity, because you can see things from so many different angles when you're not stirring things up in your emotions, in your mind, in your thought process. Like, because neutrality doesn't allow that. Like, you're literally, so I'm glad that you got to that,
Mhm.
because when I learned about that neutral tunnel, I'm like, bet. Okay, then. And this actually helps in terms of not taking things personal too. Okay.
Mhm.
So when you stay in a neutral state, things don't hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
You can see things for what they are. Like, you can see when someone else is projecting their own emotions, their own feelings onto you. But if you're not taking it personal, you understand. No way. We got more people joining in. Love you guys so much. All right. So Maddie just joined. Hi, Maddie. Well, while we wait for Maddie to get situated, does anyone else want to talk about some things that came up for them?
Yeah, I have something.
Yes.
So, yeah, I notice for myself a lot of energy gets drained whenever it comes to sharing about something. So whether it's like with family or making sure that I'm communicating often enough with people, sharing online, like on Instagram and things like that, I physically feel it taking over like everything. Like it just drains me. And I'm like, "Why?" Because I know that it's important, and I do like sharing things. I mean, you know, like, after you get started, you just talk forever, and it's wonderful. But there's something about there's, like, pressure around it, I guess. And, yeah, instantly, I just feel myself being drained, and I'm noticing it more and more, and I'm trying to get into more of a neutral state about it, but it's a challenge and it doesn't always work, and I just need to like stop and not think about it. Um, but then time goes by, longer gaps of time between talking to somebody, we'll say, or sharing something online, or and then it kind of creates more pressure because it's like, crap, it's been 3 weeks since I called my aunt, or it's been, and it's like, then I feel pressure around that. And it just, there's this cycle that
Compiling.
happens.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's like my mind gets kicks in and is like, I can tell that they're like my aunt, as an example, or my grandparents are upset that I haven't called in a month. And then I feel their energy, and then it's just it gets messy sometimes, within myself. So yeah, like what do you do with that?
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up, because let's go back, because the first thing that I kind of pinpointed was this idea of pressure. So, what is it that's creating the pressure in posting, in socializing? What is it for you that you feel is being filtered through this idea that's like creating that pressure? Like, what are some beliefs that you may have
Mm.
around, like, maybe there's beliefs of I should be posting X amount of days, or I should be socializing, and if I don't, then blah 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 blah. Like, what is it for you?
So there's this thought that there is an expectation on the other end. It's like my parents expect me, like they don't say it, but
It's the vibration they're giving
it's
off.
the vibration. Yeah. And then, if I like recently I went to visit my grandparents is because my dad came over and kind of had a little chat with me, and he noticed that I kind of been on doing my own thing, and I haven't touched base in a while, and it was bothering him, so he brought it up, and then he also mentioned that others in the family were bringing things up to him, and he was kind of in the middle. Meanwhile, I'm just living my life and I don't feel like I need to be like in constant contact with people or, checking in so often, and just I'm totally fine. Like there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong.
But it's being interpreted as maybe like, oh, I haven't heard from her in months, or there's like this negativity around it.
Mhm.
So I'm navigating that, and that's been something I've been navigating since I moved out from my mom's a long time ago. Right. So there's, yeah, the sense that there's an expectation. And I would say it's the same with social media as well. Like I've let that go a little more, but there's like overthinking that takes place when I think about sharing. And it's like, well, I don't know. What do I even say? Da, da, da. Or it's just like, I'm just not in the mood, like there's like this weight that piles on. And yeah, so expectation
So
more so.
yes. So a few things. And then I feel like Aisha, can you relate to Sylvie with her story? And
Oh
that,
yeah. Hmm.
like, I feel like I was like, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I relate to
Yeah,
Sylvie.
can anyone else? Because that felt like, yeah, there's a lot of, hi, hun, there's Maddie. Yes. Oh, so good to see you. Getting it.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you resonate with that too? Like, just
Oh
there's
yeah.
just so much expectations, and then we start placing those expectations, we start reflecting their expectations back on us, and then it starts to compile, right? And so I definitely would love to hear from Aisha, like some of the ways that you have, because for instance, moving out is a great, powerful way to just kind of sever that,
Yeah.
that bond. But there's still this sense of it's still there. There's still those expectations, and they're projecting that there's something wrong when in reality you're just out here vibing.
Living your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vibing. You'll talk to them when you talk to them. Like if
Yeah.
there's nothing that's dire, that's a complete like in an emergency, you're good. Like we don't have to communicate so
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
often. And so I think that also is like us recognizing that it is okay to set that boundary
Correct.
with them. It has to be okay. We have
Hmm.
to let it be okay. And all the overthinking that comes with that is this idea of it's not okay and that there's obviously something wrong. But in reality, it's like, no,
There's nothing wrong at all.
there's nothing wrong at all. Like in the present moment, we are feeling like, yeah, this is how I want to be in this moment. I don't have to reach out. And that's how I feel about social media too. And that like I will not post if I'm not feeling it. Like I'm just not going to, because to me it's like putting these conditions that if I don't show up in this certain way, then I will be perceived as this, or I
Hmm.
will not be remembered, or you have to let that go. And I think that you're doing great in terms of letting it go on, the social media aspect. But I think also it's like you can see how it's bleeding over into that. You can see the bleeding
Hmm.
to other elements of life. And so we ask ourselves, how are we filtering these ideas through this tunnel? So the negative tunnel would be that perception of like, yeah, there's this expectation and I'm not meeting that expectation. And because I'm not meeting that expectation, I have failed, or I am doing something wrong. And so we could take out the expectation. Let's just go ahead and pluck that out, unplug it from the brain, because we don't need that anymore, right? We can depower that thought and start to plug in the thoughts of it is okay for me to show up whenever I show up. Okay, it is okay for me to do the things that I want to do that feel aligned for me, and not have to defend. I don't have to defend it.
Justify.
Don't have
Yeah.
to justify it. And so in recognizing also, and I think that you have this awareness of the energies that you're feeling whenever you do feel that backlash, right? Whenever you do feel like, oh shit, like I just stepped
Oh,
into
yeah.
my truth and they didn't like it. They think I did something against them. But over time, like you'll realize, or they will realize, or they will come to realize, and maybe they won't, right? But no matter what, I don't think that it's worth compromising on your truth.
Yeah.
And this is why, we can just start to stop the overthinking, or rather using that overthinking as a tool to be able to gauge where we're at within ourselves. And that can help with funneling our energy, at least through the neutral perspective, right? So through the neutral perspective, we can see that, yes, they just want to hear from us. Yes, they just want a sense of like, are you still there? But there's so many different ways that we can do that. And we want to speak to the way that we want to do things. We have the right to run our life the way that we want to do it, regardless. And I've had to teach myself this because my mom is hella African, hella traditional. and you don't tell her no. Okay, so she does not understand what it means to have her own child tell her no.
No is not in their vocabulary.
It's
Well,
not.
and I think that that's something that is a special opportunity that you get to take, like, on this whole journey of like trying to center yourself, is like, yeah, in a sense it can be seen as that you're saying no to them, but like you're not saying no, you're saying yes to yourself. And when you give yourself the opportunity to be honest with your people, like, even though it's a very uncomfortable conversation 9 times out of 10, just because conversation can be uncomfortable 9 times out of 10. But for me, I felt a lot more peace whenever I just kind of went ahead and let them know, hey, like, I didn't mean it. I'm just kind of doing my thing. That's not telling them no. It's just telling them what's up. And it's like, but I still love you, yo. Like, that's what I've got for you. Like, I recognized that I was making them feel weird. And I mean, like you were mentioning that you felt that they were kind of bringing that to your table as well. And if you want to do something with it, cool. Like, if you want to start sending them a little text here and there or tagging them in a little something, then fine, that's cool. Like, you are trying to find your place in the dance of this. But if you don't, then don't. And don't feel bad about it. Like, and that's with anybody. That's with friends. That's with, because we're also like human beings that like have our own lives and stuff going on. Like, if anybody's gonna alienate you or make you feel weird about that, I think that that's kind of weird, you know, like, in my personal opinion. I understand it's a lot deep seated in family. And I'm saying this even with the thought process of I relate to it on a family note. But when I was able to relate with my family and be like, look, I'm attempting to try to show up as much as I can at this time. I love you guys. If you need something, let me know. We'll see what we can do. But don't feel bad if I'm not around every weekend. If you don't get the phone call every week, like, I love you and I'm here for you, and I don't mean anything personally by it. And it's just kind of one thing I've noticed is a lot of older generations, they didn't get this opportunity to have a backbone for themselves. They never got to stand up. They could have, sure, cool, they could have, but like, it's a different time. Like, I feel we're in such a blessed moment where we have this opportunity to kind of like have a light for our parents and for our grandparents and for the people around us that was kind of stigmatized before. And that light comes along with being in our truth and speaking our truth. And that's how it becomes neutral. That's how it becomes good, is by speaking it and not letting it fester in your mind where it becomes a question, which can be a negative or a positive. Let it be. Just let it be what it is. And if they try to come at you sideways in your situation with your parents saying things or your family saying things, let's say half of your family gets it, half of you don't, you're going to have a closer bond with those that did, you know, the ones that are understanding of that, you know, and that's going to be so special. And those you can pray for, and you can hope that they're able to find their peace in this, because apparently they're getting themselves in a wad over what
Literally.
They're
working themselves
living
up.
your life being a grown adult. Like, that was what that's what they put you here for. Sorry. Like, pay a bill then. I don't know. I digress.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned about the generational thing, because that was something that my dad had mentioned too, right? It was like they don't fully understand that, you know, it's okay to just do your own thing, or to, you know. And so it was almost like, yeah, but does that mean I need to justify it because of that? Or is it unrealistic for me to expect that they'll just understand? Because the truth is that times have changed, and there isn't an understanding around the way things are now with communication and interaction and things like that. So it's like, do you meet them halfway? Do you just be like, well, this is how I roll, and accept it? I accept you, you know what I mean?
Well, and that's where, I mean, how does anyone learn anything? You have to be introduced to it. Like, we are all teachers to each other in this, like, and that gives you the opportunity. Like, I understand I can come off brash in the situation because I'm at that point in my like healing of it. Like, I recognize that. Thanks for that. That was good. But it's like, you do kind of have to, in a sense, be like, this is what it is, but I love you and I respectfully, like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
this
I don't
is
think
what
there should be
I
like
have to offer, and you can hear what they have to say. And that was where I was saying, if you want to find a happy medium, then tight. Like, I'm happy that you feel that for that person, but also don't feel bad if you don't, because we're all just stardust, man. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I think with
don't-
like this expectation that they should know, we can actually drop that because we can show them just by example. We can just show them. Like,
no one knows.
I noticed, yes, I
We're
noticed
all
when I give
figuring
my
it
mom
out. That's the
exactly,
best part.
exactly. So I noticed when I just give my mom just a little dose of how I roll, so to speak, she's more receptive. She's like, okay, because she's seeing that it's not just her view that works, but it's also multiple views that could work and work a little bit more efficiently, mind you. Okay, because this day and age, we are not about to put up with what our parents put up with in order to get to where they are, because there are better ways to do it, and we are that generation. So yes, we can show them, we can teach them, and whether they choose to be receptive, that's up to them. Like, we can't overthink that. It's the same thing with being a coach, right? I can show people and teach them different tools, techniques, what have you, and I can represent that healing state, right? A healed energy. But the person who I'm coaching has to match my energy in order for that effect to happen. Whether they choose to accept you as you are, choose to at least be open to how you are showing them how you are through what you're telling them, through what you're teaching them, because they're also learning too. I know sometimes they feel stuck in their ways, but they're still learning slowly but surely. And sometimes it kind of feels like they go backwards, but nonetheless, we still love them, we still care about them, but we're not about to go backwards with them, right? With that's just disrespecting boundaries, disrespecting our truth. And yeah,
that's where letting yourself feel expectation and guilt, letting yourself feel like these shames and things, like processing those feelings for yourself and like identifying them for yourself in those moments, that's where we're not breaking the generational curse. We're not becoming the new ancestors in those moments. We're just living the same story that we've been watching them go through.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's a good point. So glad you-
That's a good one.
yeah. Oh yeah, we got so much.
Everyone's on the same page with this one. I can tell.
Yes. Did anybody else want to add in or talk about something else that came up for them? Lauren, did you want to? Yes. Hi.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. It's so good to be here. I guess like a lot of things came up for me. I mean, my mom has always taught me that like you should seat yourself in love, or she says seat thyself in love, which is really sweet and everything. But I love that you just say that we are love.
Yeah.
I that really resonates with me. And then also like my sister, she was raised a bit differently, and she would ask like her grandmother, she would ask, what is God? And she would say, "Oh, honey, God is love." And it's like, no, we are love. We are love. I just, that really stuck with me. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm 7 months pregnant, and I just got back from like Texas and Arkansas. And
Where's been all over the
so
place?
it was like a weird, like, I felt so drained, but I feel so recharged now that I'm back in Florida with like my husband's family. And I don't know what it is. I just feel like more myself. Like I got to connect with people that have known me my whole life. And I got to tell if something didn't work out where I didn't get to see somebody, like I was not worried about it. Like my own sister on the last day, I was like, "Oh gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna get to see you one more time." And it just didn't work out, but I was not really fretting about it.
Nice.
And yeah, and I could tell she felt really guilty. And I was like, "Girl, please." Like, please don't feel guilty on my account. Like that's not what's up. So yeah, just it's interesting how like coming from a place of fear is also a place of guilt. And that's something that I really want to keep reframing and keep working on, because yeah, there's just, I don't know. I think I used to do a lot of things out of guilt or out of some kind of like obligation that I felt to somebody. And it's like, wait, what about me? What do I want? I love what, I don't know who said this, saying no is a yes. Was that you, MJo? I don't know who said that, It was so good.
I'm
Okay.
not just sharing. Regardless, no, it's fire.
Yes,
Saying
I
no is a
love your
yes
input,
to yourself.
Lauren. Oh, sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I love your input because, like, you know, I should give something back to somebody because you feel that guilt. That's how I felt with that girl, you know, like she's always giving, 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 but like I'm trying to match that energy, but I don't have that. You know, I can give you that emotionally, but like, yeah, and it just like it will hurt you because you're giving that energy away and you'll never be happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So true.
I love that. And I feel like you're stepping into your power, Lauren, like with this idea of like, don't feel bad for me. Like, and understanding that guilt is associated with that fear, is associated with like this, like we can call it a ghost obligation, because in reality, we don't even know if people are expecting this of us, but we're creating these obligations that may not even exist, whether they do or not. So these ghost obligations that really start to take a hold of us and then start weighing us down. And it's just like, wait a minute, like, where does this even come from? Like, this may not even be something that like pertains to the now moment or ever has been. But when we start letting go, we start bringing light to these ghost obligations. That's what you're gonna, these GOs, right? We're gonna start calling it that. But they're bringing light to it. We start literally like lifting these weights that we put on us. So yeah, like that's why you like didn't feel that guilt. You're just like, nah, like I'll see you another time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. I love that so much. And also that girl, you also have a baby. That's so cool. Like,
It's so
the very first
crazy.
baby.
I'm like, oh my gosh. It's interesting that we're talking about boundaries because like this has always been an issue for me. But like I just have a feeling when that baby comes, like my like I'm just that's it. Like I'm not gonna I hope I'll take care of myself still. I hope I'll still do nice things for myself. But like once I don't know, I feel like once you have a
I
baby,
won't
you're
let
just
you
like
not.
Lauren,
Okay.
I'm gonna say
I
the
won't let you
opposite.
not. Oh,
No,
sorry.
I'm gonna say that the opposite is about to happen, where all you're gonna care about is protecting this child, and you're like, anyone who wants to mess with this, like the boundaries that you'll have are going to be intense with
Yeah.
other people. That's what happened with my sister, and she reminds me of you so much. And yeah, I can already tell that you're just gonna gain this power and you're gonna be like, nope, I know exactly who I am and what I need and what my family needs, and it's gonna be extremely clear for everybody around you. So
thank
it's
you,
coming. It's
Sylvie.
coming.
That's
Oh
so
my gosh.
true.
This
That
made my
is so.
day.
Yeah.
You'll just naturally take care. You'll never not take care of yourself because literally you showing up for yourself ensures 100% that you can be there for your child, which you will no matter what. Okay. But really, you want to do this in a way that's like refreshing, that's nourishing, that's positive, that is of your highest good, that is of our love, that source energy that we are. So yeah, absolutely. Like that's maybe that's like that, pre-pregnancy concern, but girl, once you are in it, I'm excited for you. Like that is just amazing. You're going to be just such a wonderful mother because you've been doing the work and you continue to do the work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Was there anything else? Did you want to add anything, Steph, or Maddie, or Allie, or Aisha? Any?
I can add something. I like this talk of boundaries and stuff, and like the feeling of like I relate a lot to you, Sylvie, with like feeling drained sometimes with like the having to like keep up with things. Like I feel a lot of pressure sometimes to like keep up with these people, and what I've been like noticing from that is that like when I do it out of this like obligation, like the way I show up isn't as genuine as I know I want to show up as, and like that can also be felt. And so I've just like come to the place where I'm like, if I'm gonna show up, I want to show up like because I genuinely want to be there, like I genuinely want to talk, or I genuinely like not from this like, yeah, because people can feel that, and I hate giving off that vibe that I'm like I'm just checking in, and like I hate when like people like feel that from me because it's like I love these people, but then like it's like so obvious that I'm just like checking in or something, or like I'm just like not even from because I genuinely want to. I don't know. So like it's been like uncomfortable at times to like some people will be like, oh well, you're going over wherever, you can't come visit me, or like you can't come do this with me, and I'm like, it's like, and then I'm like, oh yeah, like maybe I should go do that, and then I'm like, but if I went, I would just be like kind of counting down the hours till I left because it's not genuinely what I want to be doing, which feels like weird to say, but it's like just like I don't know.
She said hours. Y'all get 1 hour out of me. Hours.
I really want to like show up from now on if like I genuinely want to be there, you know, and want to talk and not. I just don't like coming from that energy of like obligation. I'm like very obvious about it. Like it's I can't really hide my intentions. Like I can't. So it's yeah.
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was a potent share because I get it completely. And you know, people can feel that energy, but most important, like it doesn't even matter if they can feel it or not. It's just like what do you want in that moment? And that's what matters the most because what you want in that moment usually is aligned with your truth. And that is what will give you that nourishing energy to be able to show up for other people. You being kind to yourself, you choosing yourself actually benefits them as well in the long run with how you show up, when you show up, and whenever you do show up, it is more authentically. The energy is more intentional in you being present and wanting to be there. So it's this idea of like, okay, we can set that boundary and say no. And that, yes, oh, whoever said that no means yes. No means yes in the long run, really. Like, literally, you are stating, this is what I have to do for me. And it is what it is in terms of, I'm sorry, I just need that space to myself. And it is okay to not be there for other people. Like, how can you be when you are drained? How can you be truly when you are exhausted? And I'm sure, you know, and to some extent we can be there for people. And but again, we're just like giving and giving and giving with no time to replenish our own energy and understand our own energy. So yeah. By the way, this recording, I will have it available for you guys. So, and especially like, you know, with Maddie and Mare had to leave for a birthday party, but so you guys can go back and, you know, watch this and like really like understand more of your energy, more of how you're funneling your energy, and ask yourself the questions: how am I filtering my energy in this moment? Like, what is it that I can do to take steps into coming back to a neutral state, a neutral point of power where we can see all options and be able to choose what is of our highest good? Because these days for me, what I notice is I will not act in ways that are out of alignment with my highest good. I do that less and less these days. So if I really don't want to do something, I'm just not going to do it. Like I used to sit there and debate, like, oh man, like should I go? And oh, they're expecting me to. And I'm just today. I'm like, no, I'm not even going to do it. Like I'm not going to sit there and debate it because indecision creates anxiety. And that it creates too much time. Okay, there's like this window of opportunity for anxiety to seep in whenever you're sitting there in indecision of, oh, should I do this? But what if they did? But there, I'm expecting, and like, no, I'm just like, no. If I have to sit there and debate it, no. If that yes becomes a yes later on, then yes. And it feels really powerful and kind of scary too, because it's like, holy shit, I've never done this before. Like, so if you're, you know, new at being able to set those boundaries, set what is to happen for you and how you expect others to receive you or receive that or receive your choices, that can be a little bit like frightening because it's like, oh, like, are they gonna, you know, reject me, or are they gonna think something of me, or are they gonna XYZ? Like, are they gonna feel guilty? Yada yada. But again, over time with practice and creating, we can create this as like the new habit of being able to just say, hey, this is what I need in this moment, and we're not gonna overthink it. Like there is no overthinking. The overthinking is really the negative thought. Like overthinking is almost like synonymous to negativity, right? Because you don't really overthink positive things. You are being it. You are that vibration. You don't have to sit there and overthink it. Like, why am I feeling positive? Like, why am I like, you don't, you're just like, I am. Like, let's get it. All this energy, you're just doing your thing. But with negative or overthinking, it's, you know, the higher knowing, the existence, what is true for you, but then other things are coming in and telling you otherwise. And that's that overthinking. So if you realize that those other things don't have as much power as you give it, or those other things really don't have to come into your energetic sphere, think of like a bubble, like a dome, right? Then you start to realize like, oh, okay, well then fantastic. We can start to channel and move our energies towards things that make a little bit more sense for us, the things that are a little bit more aligned for us, things to where, you know, we don't start to buy into or overthink, and we start to let go of those chains that we're creating, of those ghost obligations that come with overthinking, right? We start to see it more clearly, like, haha. So yeah, good stuff. How are you guys feeling? Because I think it's about time to wrap this up. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's this time. So how are y'all feeling? Pretty good? Definitely refreshed. How you feeling, Allie? I can't see you. Where you at?
I'm feeling a
There you
lot
go.
better.
Yes. Okay. I'm happy. Yeah. That makes me feel so good.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like thank you for the advice about people pleasing and everything.
Yeah. Very. I'm so glad you got something out of that for sure. And I'll let you guys know whenever this recording will be available, so you'll have it for yourself. Um, and then yeah, like we'll just keep on the journey. I feel like we're gonna have another workshop soon, because these are really, really powerful, great ways to connect. And yeah, we'll just continue, journeying on together. Like this has been so great, and I'm really excited to have more. And we'll continue exploring more of this, because sometimes it does take more than one workshop to be able to understand more of our energy and why we are showing up and why we are overthinking. So we can definitely do this again, in terms of the energy funnel and other things to come, because I help you heal, you help me heal. Let's heal collectively, and then literally go out there and show everyone what we're about, and stand in our truth, and be convicted in what we say goes, what we choose to express as ourselves, how we choose to be, how we choose to show up. And if we know deep down that we're not here to hurt people, we're not trying to hurt anyone at all. Like, our intentions are pure, our intentions are good, then how they perceive our alone time, how they perceive how we're using our energy is their issue. If they want to make it one, it has nothing to do with us. And that takes a lot of pressure off. Okay, just as it is. It's like, bet. So we can just keep practicing that, keep practicing that. Until next time. Yes. Thank you guys so much. Well,
Thank you to you.
if there's
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having
Yes.
this. Yeah,
Sure,
this has
thank
been
you.
really nice. Yeah.
Thank you, Chico.
I'm so
Thank you.
excited. Yes. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for being a part of this. It's been so amazing. And yeah, like, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Don't forget to breathe. So much love and gratitude and appreciation to you. We are powerful beings. Let's go be powerful beings everywhere. Okay. Love you guys so much.
Bye, Chico.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.